I'm Beth Ganga from the District 2 office, and I'm here today with my longtime friend Kathryn Kolb, who is here. We are celebrating Nature Photography Day today, who is here in downtown Decatur, which is the offices for the DeKalb County Board of Commissioners. So Kathryn, do you want to tell us a little about yourself and why you're here today?
Well, thank you guys so much for having me here. I've been a nature photographer for a very long period of time. So I kind of have two different hats. One is as a fine art photographer, nature photographer, and then I also do a lot of work to protect the environment. So the project that we have here is some images that I did quite a few years ago. It was all about illustrating these wonderful parks that DeKalb County purchased and purchased properties and turned them into parks. So part of that is a project I did a little while ago. Then we also have some images I did for a small calendar for the Arabian Mountain Alliance.
So Kathryn, tell us how you became involved with this project.
So I had done some work with the commissioners, and they were, I believe, renovating their offices, and they wanted to illustrate these new parks that they had purchased. At the time, I believe there was state funding to buy a number of rather special properties, so they wanted someone to actually go out and make photos so we could sort of illustrate these great properties that now became parks for DeKalb. And for the Arabian Mountain Alliance, I think I had done this project originally, and they wanted to, I think I might have made a proposal to do a small calendar, which I had done for our Georgia Forest Watch. I had done some other projects similarly. The first one that we're looking at here is an Adamasco lily. That's actually not very common. So that's kind of special that we found that on the property that's now part of the Arabian Mountain Network. What we're walking down the hall with is a series that I did for the calendar for the Arabian Mountain Alliance. They did an incredible amount of work, putting together the whole network of protected properties and stuff. And the Alliance was kind of just getting off the ground, and this was kind of celebrating, their work. And so this is actually, it's one of the old structures that was used by the folks that were doing the original quarrying out there at the mountain. So there's lots of different types of things. I'm sure that's quarried stone right there. So this is actually a kind of it's a close-up shot of some little plants. They're actually very rare. Some of them are federally endangered that live in this really rare habitat up on the top of Arabian Mountain. The name for these pools up there that collect rainwater is called solution pits. That's not like an exciting name. But it's really interesting because rainwater collects, and there's a host of some really, really rare plants that are only able to live in this environment, which in the wintertime, will be frozen and cold, and in the summertime, it's, very, very hot, over 100 degrees and so. So these little plants have adapted to this really uncommon ecosystem. And actually, I should say that these rock outcrops are in the Georgia Piedmont, so they're not necessarily in other parts of the country. It's kind of a rare habitat we have here. And then let's see, this is lower down. So this is a tributary stream that eventually comes out to the South River, but just kind of a really nice, forest moment. It's nice to sit by a stream and hear water running. It's always kind of good for our soul. This is just, I just thought it was kind of interesting. Just a pool that's also a little bit lower down, not up on the top of the mountain, but just kind of a nice reflection. One of the things about my work as a photographer, which kind of intersects with natural forms and so forth, is I'm very strongly interested in the kind of the design and the kind of the almost the mathematical structure. So this is, the reflection actually kind of enhances this, but a lot of my work also involves the inherent design of natural forms. So nature has its own kind of architecture. A lot of those plants and so forth, their growth forms are based on phi ratios, Fibonacci number sequences. And I find that those types of design forms are very beautiful to us. In other words, I think we are inherently able to see math, so to speak, and when we see those natural forms, it looks beautiful to us because that is the architecture of nature. So, so this is just a really, I thought it was a kind of a nice moment where there's the lighting is coming at a very low angle. So the light is kind of hitting the mosses and that are growing right on top of the Arabia Mountain, up on the top, on that surface. And then in the background, we've got kind of the pine forest and a ridge in the background. I thought that was just a nice light moment there. So this is actually the old barn from the Waters farm. I think that's, I'm not sure when that structure was, but I want to say it dates back to the early 1900s. This is actually one of my favorite photos. Just that kind of late afternoon light, you know, peeking through the clouds, and a little bit of the sky casting a little backlight in there. I just thought the colors just kind of totally rocked it, and I always like to have kind of out of focus things in the foreground, kind of leads you in a little bit. So this is an old barn that's the original structure is up there. It's kind of high on the hill by the Alexander's Loop Trail. The lake is down there, and the new bike path comes in there, so you can actually ride fairly close to this. If it's still standing, just a minute ago, on the bike path. But anyway, it's, you know, just kind of an old barn. Some of the walls were kind of missing, but the light was coming through either side, so there's all these really, you know, rich brown tones in the fall. It just kind of looked really nice. This is actually another one of my favorite shots from the calendar. So this is actually one of those solution pits where we have some of that, one of the rare plants, which is called Diamorpha, that comes up and has its moment really early in the spring. So I was trying, it was just starting to come up. It's not full out yet. And so the weather was such that we still have, the plant is coming up, but it's still freezing temperatures. So the water had frozen overnight and hadn't thawed out yet. So the little Diamorpha plants were kind of caught in this little sheet of ice that was just, you know, just on the verge of melting. And this is actually the Diamorpha when it has it's come out a little more full. So it's actually starting to bloom. So there's very interesting little, they have kind of a red color, and then the bloom is white. It's very interesting because when they come out in the really early spring, you know, it's cold up on top of the mountain. But then by the time they produce their seeds, it gets very hot. So their seeds are up on these little stalks so that they don't literally get roasted on the rock surface. The rock surface is almost like a frying pan, right? In the hot temperatures, so they're on these little stalks, so the seeds don't get cooked. So thank you guys so much to go on this tour of some of the nice photos from natural areas from DeKalb County. I'm Kathryn Kolb, longtime nature photographer in our area, Metro Atlanta and beyond. I invite you guys to have a very happy nature photography day. Grab your cell phone or your old film camera. There's some wonderful natural areas in DeKalb County. It's always, of course, great to be out in a natural area and just to breathe the air and look around, even if you're taking photos or if you're not taking photos. Thank you so much.